and start the recording for our 20th session.
Whoop,
Whoop
whoop.
whoop.
Wow.
Wowzers. 20 sessions. So many. Well, as we left off in our last session, you guys spent some time investigating around the camps. After dealing with the spawn, the vampire spawn, in one of the imprisonment containers, you guys ended up gathering back together, handing packs over to Finch for possible interrogation and getting into his mind with the things he does not remember. However, Pax did, upon interrogation by you guys, give you guys some pointers as to where you could possibly go. Searching around for a little bit, chatting with each other, you guys ended up meeting with a little lad by the name of Pollux. We learned Linen is quite good with children. Crazy. Not expected. But Linen's pretty good with kids. Able to coerce Pollux to to give you guys about all the... Aiden? No.
Finish before I make my comment. Because I don't want to derail this any further.
To gather all the information possible. Eventually, someone frightened Pollux to where he ran back inside, comes out with a little bag, throws it at you guys, and runs away again. Inside the bag being a small note written by Varys with a very, very simple phrase, hello again, followed by the Platinum Aboleth. You guys assume to be some kind of tavern or inn at the city of Team. Along with it, a small bloodletting dagger, very similar to the one that you guys previously found in his apartment in Sargoth. However, this one seems a little different, maybe a little bit less powerful, but not currently attuned to anyone. Remind me real quick, who has the dagger right now?
Who is holding it this time?
I believe Secure.
It's Secure or Linen, right?
I don't know if I ever actually took it, I'm gonna be honest.
It's Linen.
But I can say I took it now.
Linen or Rikus?
Yeah.
Because it was originally handed off to Rikus, but then it was handed to Linen. And then it was handed to Leopold. So it could be any one of those three.
Let's do a d6 dice roll. 1, 2 is Rikus, 3, 4 is Linen, 5, 6 is Leopold.
Sure.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
not
not on there?
You
Well-
wanna be on there? We can make it a d10. We could have passed it off to Wayne.
Or at that point, we could make it a D4 or D10 if you want to include Nate. I will say, while somebody is rolling that, the two comments I wanted to make. One, imagine how funny it would be if we hadn't found that dagger, but we still got the... Fuck, what am I terrible with names?
Rikus.
Why can
Rikus
I
is
not
the
remember his name? I have it in my note sheet.
I was gonna say,
Platinum-
which?
The vampire guy.
Varys?
Varys. I knew it was a V name. Imagine if we walked up to Varys and he's like, so you found my note, and we just don't know at all what he's talking about, and we also missed the second dagger. But the other thing I was going to talk about, so if Linen is so good with kids, is that why he attracts so many MILFs?
Yo.
Hey, good with the kids, good with the mom. You know what they say.
You want to reiterate, Linen was Polkar's tutor for several months before
Yeah.
leading the party. So he's been he's been basically a pseudo teacher for a lot of like the young ones in the.
Yes. And my roommate is currently cracking up over there. So if you want context for that, I can give it to you after the session.
Yeah. Lennon was actively for like a little over half a year being the primary tutor under literally every subject for the, Lord's son. So he's got to have some kind of bedside manner for children.
Hey, yo.
Hey,
Beside their bed.
Yep, beside their bed.
Good lord.
Regardless. So, as we enter back into this session, you guys did go back out, loop around, check the forest around where you guys found Pax, found a couple small hints, particularly the fact that it seems a carriage laden with a fair amount of weight on a path nearby drove up, seemingly dumped something on the ground, and started riding back towards Team. And they were pretty fresh tracks, making you believe that this was probably where Pax was dropped off. So, you guys went back into Camp 3, and Randall was there waiting for you. Randall being the human fighter knight kind of character who is a member of the Kravas Guild, who Ceramus has loaned you the sword of for the time being, as he is unable to leave and help you guys. Randall had a cart ready, along with some healing potions. And we open this session as you guys enter the city of Team. Team is a coastal city. It is a quite large coastal city as well. It is probably the third largest city in the Caladrian Empire. In terms of the coastal cities, like Sargoth, Rivacheg, Kuthanki, Aranin, or Wercheg, Team is the largest of which. However, it is often considered the least special, outside of the fact that it is the naval center, in terms of like the military's naval section, with, as I spoke of previously, dockyards that stretched somewhere around 20 miles in length. Not constant dockyards, as we spoke about, but wharfs, dockyards, and such, just strewn all about the coastline beside Team. Team, unlike most of the Caladrian cities, has no walls. It does have main thoroughfares entering into the city, but Team, being probably the most recently established mega city in the Caladrian Empire, as it was established a little bit under 50, 60 years ago, has no walls. It was raised up in a time that war was not a thing, and there really hasn't been a war that reached this far to where they ever really thought they needed walls. And it's not like walls do you that much, when, honestly, there's no naval powers that are enemies of yours in the area. Regardless, as you guys enter in, the architecture in general is very rounded. It's kind of strange to say, but they don't like sharp anything here in Team. So the roofs, while slanted, are a rounded slant with no corners. The buildings, their corners are rounded brick and stone. As you guys enter the city, where do you want to go? How do you want to proceed? You have a name of a possible inner tavern, but don't really have a heading outside of that. Don't be too quick on your feet.
Sorry, my internet very briefly cut out. I missed from about rounded architecture to tavern.
Yeah, when you said rounded architecture, I instantly started trying to think of a pun I could insert.
Sounds about right. So, how would you guys like to proceed going about trying to find the Platinum Aboleth?
Quick question. It's like, what time of day? Isn't it like very late in the evening?
It is pretty dang late in the evening. We're probably looking at 11 or so in the evening right now, maybe a little bit later.
Are there any like guards on duty, like coming into the city?
Yes, there are guards. Only a few, I believe. There's 4 posted at the main entrances and thoroughfares into the city. This is very much a night shift. There's not really much happening, but there is a set of the Sapphire Guard hearing team.
I guess, let's ask
Yeah.
them.
Probably a good place as any to start. Also, Rikus, how is the leg with the weight after all of that walking you did?
Oh yeah.
If you think this bothers me, then you wouldn't have made it very far in the service.
You didn't
Roll
get
me a
any-
Constitution saving throw, Rikus.
You didn't get any blood on the knife, right, Rikus?
No, unlike my brother, I tend to keep them contained in bottles.
Keep a knife in a bottle?
My,
I mean, if they put
My
ships
blood,
in a
you
bottle, why not
dunce.
knives? Really?
Oh shit, that was great.
oh, I accidentally rolled. That was not. I accidentally
the
clicked
modifier.
20.
Add
Hold
your
on, I clicked
modifier. Add
Add
your
your modifier.
modifier.
No, 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 no.
Add your
I
modifier.
was clicking and dragging. I didn't real like. I
Okay, go ahead and roll me the con
accidentally
save.
clicked
Come
20.
on, just roll me a con save.
Okay.
Let's see if the die lie.
Don't worry, you're just gonna roll a 1 because you had to re-roll it.
Alright.
Okay, you're not doing too terrible. You definitely want to be taking this off. Like, now. Your leg is in pain, but you're able to keep a straight face and speak calmly through it.
Well, regardless of your military training or not, since we are very well going to potentially be in combat, I suggest we call this gentlemanly... It's not really the right word. It's not really a duel either. Gentlemanly bet. Let's call this gentlemanly bet off and potentially resume it later, when we are not about to meet a very hostile party. How say you?
Randall, how many Harlequins do you think you can take?
Sounds wonderful.
Randall, just
but-
sitting on the cart with Lennon, kind of looks over to him and says, "Depends. Are they the kind of Harlequins that were able to capture packs, or are they normal Harlequins?"
Probably the ones that could capture packs.
DM, I would personally like Leopold to roll a Constitution. How much
After
pain
sitting
has
my
he been
ass
in?
in a cart?
He's been
Oh, yeah.
in a cart the whole ride over, so he's in no pain.
No, but he might be in pain.
No, I'm
The
not making him roll a con
discomfort.
save. I'm gonna mute you if you keep talking. Lennon.
Also, my son just woke up again.
Oh, no.
That's rough. So
So I
Lennon,
may dip here in a moment.
as you're asking the question, Randall says, I don't know what they look like. I don't know exactly what they can do. But how many was it? Was it like 8, 9, something like that?
How many did they say? I counted 5 when you said all the names, but I might not have gotten all the names.
Well, they didn't list out the names of all of the Harlequins.
Or the members of the.
What did I list the members of the group? I do not remember.
I have a
You
dwarf,
did.
gnome, halfling, and human, but I think there was a 5th one.
There was a 5th.
It's 9 people.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say I thought it was 9. I could have sworn I had
9.
said 9.
Humans, dwarf, gnome, elf, and halfling.
Yeah, do I have... Yeah, I'm Sharius Lapalm. And the Laughing Faces. 5 humans plus a dwarf, halfling, gnome, and elf. He says, 9 of them... I could probably take 3. Maybe 4 on a good day.
Oh, nice.
I don't know.
Hopefully we don't get into combat with them. Whoever, if they can capture packs.
Well, if I can take 4, the rest of y'all can take 1, and we're good there.
That's true. Well. Yeah, sure.
So, as you guys enter into the city, are you guys wishing to ask the Sapphire Guard any questions?
It was the Platinum Aboleth. May as well ask the Silver Guards.
Hello, travelers. You look weary. Late entry. Are you looking for an inn or tavern nearby?
Yes. We were hoping we could find the Platinum Aboleth that comes recommended.
They kind of look at each other. They kind of look back. The one who was speaking previously goes, "Don't know anything about a Platinum Aboleth. However, if you're looking for taverns, your best place is the Pegasus Quarters. They're on the western side of the city along the coastline. There's some higher level inns and suites over there, but it's where most of the housing is for temporary stuff. It's a bit of a trek across the city. It'll take a little bit of time, but that's where I would guess it would be at least."
Well, it's not as if we haven't trekked all evening. What's a little more? Thank you for the answer.
Alright,
And,
stay safe.
Hopefully the night shift isn't too bad for you.
You're the first person we've seen in 2 hours.
Oh, by the way, we heard tales on the road about some sort of troop called the Laughing Faces. Heard they were pretty interesting. Were there any troop like that coming into town?
1 second. I'm gonna roll some dice.
Yep. Any troop like that coming into town recently?
They all kind of look at you awkwardly and nod their heads. It's not like we get much time for frivolities, but I don't remember anything of that sort passing through. But it's a big city. If you keep asking around, maybe you'll hear something.
Alright. I heard that we heard from some people in the refugee camps that they put on a pretty interesting performance. So
You notice that as soon as you mention that you're from the refugee camps, their faces turn from cordial to immediately a more neutral and stoic look. And they kind of nod and kind of stop talking to you.
well,
Would you like to clarify?
what's the problem? We were just passing through. I mean, can't really get to team without passing through there.
If you're coming
Yeah.
from the south, yes. There's roads in between. One of them kind of comes a little closer to the cart, kind of raising his visor, kind of looks up and says, "I'd be careful who you tell that you're from the camps, even if you passed through them. It's not necessarily a popular decision from our lords to let them inhabit the areas south of our fields."
Well, that should be easy, given that we're from Rivedan.
They very strangely look at each other. You would have had to pass by the city to get down to the camps.
It's a long story, and we have a tavern to go find.
Involves a bit of teleportation, really.
All right.
Yeah.
That's above
If
our
you-
pay grade. If you need anything, you're welcome to find any of the Sapphire Guard inside the Pegasus quarters.
Well, if you see any strange sightings, and I pull out a copy of the business card and hand it to him.
He looks at it and is just like flabbergasted at it for a moment, before he just shrugs, places it just inside the pocket of his plate armor, and says, "Have a safe travel throughout the city. Keep your eyes about. Not really anything to be paying attention to this time of night, but you never know."
Now I'm kind of wondering, what's all on that business card? Because it's not like we have an email or a phone number we can put on there. What, is it just like the mailing address of the Academy of Dusk?
Well, while we have like the RID
It's just a
card-
P.O. box.
Yeah, while
that Harry Harrington has
while
to
we
check
have,
daily.
like while we have like all of our ID cards, Dreykus just has copies of the Inexorables business card. It just says like, if you see strange sightings and things like that, contact.
Maybe it's just a card that says the Inexorables.
That'd be hilarious if it's just that, and then it's got like a little 3D portrait.
I find it funny
Just-
how Ruckus
I would
keeps
figure it
things out,
says like,
making
contact the
people
Academy
know
of
who we are.
Dusk if you see a strange sighting.
Yeah.
I like how you handed out, like, you expect people to know who we are when we've been a thing for, like, 12, 13, 14 days.
You guys
Well,
have
the
the Inexorables.
organization-
The Inexorables has been
organization's
around
for
for 4 or 5 months at this point.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering what kind of color is the business card? Is it
The business
like
card is
eggshell white? Is
it's
bone?
it's like a light like gray with stars in the background and the 7 spires in its corner.
But does
It's
it have a
lilac and
watermark?
periwinkle.
What did you say, Nate?
It's lilac and periwinkle.
Yep, absolutely.
Next
figured
Hey,
there's a little
leave
bit
your
of purple in
bugbear
there.
slave out of this.
Next adventure, we'll bring the bugbear NPC.
I'm so excited for Periwinkle's service to time out while Wayne is away. I'm so excited.
What did he even do?
the
Didn't he try
ask,
to kill Nate? Or,
asking the real questions. You guys
How
don't
long
know.
has he been
It has not been
inside?
revealed. It has not been revealed what Periwinkle did to get such a insurmountable and terrible judgment.
I mean, I would say the judgment is pretty mountable considering how he carries Wayne around everywhere.
Fair. All right. So, as you guys make your way through the city of Team and enter into the Pegasus quarters, which is on the not quite far side of the city, but it's pretty out of the way. Would you guys like to try and find some more guardsmen in the area, or just search around the inns and taverns that you can find? It does not seem that the Platinum Aboleth is a very popular establishment.
Yeah, we may as well ask first. It's not like we're on hostile terms with the guards.
All right, I will have you guys. I will have one person roll me an investigation check at advantage.
Alright, I have +6. Who's got
I
more?
also
Slap
Plus
have-
7.
Slap a guidance on
Plus-
who's rolling.
You said investigation?
Yes,
+6.
Does
I
this
think my
involve
plus 7
vague-
takes it.
Leopold beats everyone out. He doesn't beat them off; he beats them out. Okay.
And then you said this is
That's
at
my
advantage?
favorite.
Yes, with a guidance.
Ooh, baby.
1d4.
26.
With a 26. As you guys approach, there's a pair of Sapphire Guardsmen as you guys enter in who kind of do the same. Lo, weary traveler, how you doing? What are you looking for anything? Can we help you find anything? The Sapphire Guard in general does seem to be very kind and helpful, at least from the few encounters you guys have along your way through the city. They are not able to point you exactly to it, but they are able to point you in a very, very close vicinity of lesser known and honestly kind of seedier taverns. And upon traveling the street maybe once and then having to double back and go back through it, you guys are able to find a very humble establishment. You would say it can't have more than a dozen rooms on the inside. And that would almost entirely be on a second floor, just due to the size of this establishment. It's pushing 1 a.m. at this point, when you guys are able to find this location. So, yes, Leopold.
Looking outside the tavern, is there any obvious place for like a cart to be kept?
There is like a very small stable inside this. This is like probably on a 0.4 acre lot, and it's got a stable and this tavern that's stacked up to have a second story with a very, very small entryway.
Can we see inside the stable? Or
No,
at
it
least
is
get
closed.
a decent view of it. Okay. I was wondering if the Harlequin troop would be here, or if it was just going to be Varys. Which poses a very interesting question. Assuming Varys is inside and waiting for us, which likely is, how exactly do we want to go about this?
Well, if we ask for his knife back, probably should give it to him.
I don't think he is going to ask for that knife back. He intentionally left it with a note. Why would he? It's not like we broke into his apartment like last time and stole it. And I could be wrong, but somehow I doubt Varys intended to leave it with a random child in a refugee camp. But still, how do we want to try and approach this? Because as strong as we are, and I will look at Randall, and I haven't seen you fight, but I assume you're quite competent as well.
He's pretty competent.
Still don't know
As-
if we're...
As you guys are talking about this, Randall is completely lost. He kind of looks to you and says, "We're meeting someone here?"
Yes,
Oh.
and...
Theoretically.
Well,
Yes, we
theoretically.
should fill him in.
Yes. So the I'm trying to remember whether I know this in character. Does Leo know that Randall was with them when they fought the vampire spawns?
What?
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was
So-
there with Lennon
Yeah.
and I.
So those vampire spawns that the three of you fought, they very likely came from a man we're about to go meet.
Randall
we
says,
met him-
"And we're here to kill or capture?"
I'm not quite sure if that's physically possible for us to do. Well, we haven't tried to fight him, but he appears to be quite formidable.
Then why are we exactly here soliciting any form of negotiation without... Let me be very clear. If you're here negotiating with the person making these vampire spawn, you're negotiating on behalf of the Vox Savorum, which is not your say.
Well,
I don't believe we
What
are.
is ours? Hold on, Leopold. What is our say is that he was directly involved in the disappearance and, ergo, hostile
Reappearance?
actions of Pax, and also the continued disappearance of our friend Entrati. Our mission currently is to find Entrati. Since Pax is found, this is our only lead. If you wish to negotiate on behalf of the Vox, since you are one of them, be my guest. However, this is a being that did, in fact, charm and capture Pax, and very likely Entrati. So, killing and capturing is not an option. We are currently playing his game.
Unfortunately.
He's a cunning one.
Yes.
I
and
believe
he's-
this is all information that should have been denoted not only to myself, but also to members like Finch and Ceramus, well before we left for team.
In our defense, we...
Finch-
There is
is
no
well
defense for this.
Wait, no. I thought
If Finch was aware, I would have been before coming here.
Then you can take it up with Finch, because
And-
Finch was the first one to know.
And as
I
was
will be
about
very
to-
clear. You guys did not tell anyone. You told him that Varys existed, not in any way that you were going to meet him. I will be very
We showed
clear
him the
about
note.
that.
Wait. We showed
showed
him the
him- we
note.
showed
Did you
and
guys show him the
dagger.
note?
Yes.
We showed
Okay.
him the note.
We showed him the note.
I
and the
okay.
dagger,
Hold on.
and
Hold
he
on.
said
Let me
that
speak. Let me
it might be
speak.
up in team.
Oh.
He might be up in team. I'm really trying to remember because I could have absolutely sworn you guys may. You guys, yes, you showed him the note and the dagger.
Yes. And we said that we believed it was.
I
from Varys.
absolutely
We
forgot
read him
about this. I
fully in.
apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
fully read him in on the situation with Varys, and that the dagger was. He was the one who found out the dagger was cursed.
Yeah.
That is fair. I completely forgot about all of that. My bad. that is entirely my bad. Randall still was not read in on it.
Randall, if you may, you can call your boss real quick.
Randall's going to say, "That is all right. I will trust this for now, but I will certainly have a conversation with them. I was gathering supplies for this. Maybe he was trying to find me. Regardless, this is still most strange."
Yes.
Yes. Though, I suppose our one silver lining is the fact that he wants to be, I suppose, diplomatic rather than outright attempting to kill us. Though, his actions earlier at the camp admittedly do not bode well.
Okay, real quick. Since my memory seems to be completely gone from this occasion, at least from the perspective
You were
of the
sick.
Vox, I was sick, yeah. At least from the perspective of the Vox, you guys told Finch about this and he pointed you towards team, but you did not at all speak about negotiations with him, just that you were going to investigate it.
Yeah, I don't believe we did mention investigations, because at least in my note, I have, quote, "We informed Finch of what happened and the blood dagger. He investigates the dagger. It's cursed. Has some sort of addiction property and reluctance to give it up. It's a powerful blade that gains power as it's fed blood." That is all I have regarding Finch.
So from the perspective of Finch... Go ahead, Thomas.
We explained to Finch that we believe that Varys is the one responsible for everything that happened to Pax, and we believe it's our best lead with Entrati.
Okay. So it was not explained that you would likely be entering some kind of negotiation with Varys. I think that might have...
You 100% don't speak for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when Leopold said negotiate, I think that was just an error in wording.
A discussion.
Yeah, we plan to play his game and have it like.
Well, this game is like...
Yeah, we plan to see what he wants to say.
And
But,
see if he will give us information on Entrati.
Yeah, and still the main concern is like, okay, there's Varys who probably won't attack us. He probably wants to talk, and then there's the Harlequins who have attacked us, who have attacked people, and we probably should, look into them once this is done.
The Harlequins are more than likely more demon spawn.
Yes, and I will point to the stable. If the Harlequins are likely here, it's likely that the carriages as well. We can investigate the stables and see if we need to be wary of them.
Alright.
Well, we gotta drop off ours anyways.
This is still, I will note, most strange. But I guess it is what it is. However, if there is anything untoward to occur, I will not delay in calling the Sapphire God and attempting to kill this Varys. Failure or not, if he has been attacking and turning our prisoners, and quite possibly killing members of the Vox who are unregistered and very hard to track down, then he should be brought to justice.
I'm
He does have a point.
I'm going to place my arm on Randall. Respectfully, Randall. If you attempt to call in the Silver God, or Sapphire God rather, the best case scenario is that Varys decides this is not worth his time and leaves. The worst case scenario is that you call all of those men to their deaths, or even worse, becoming vampire spawn.
Well, yeah, he did.
It is better than negotiations with such a beast.
Personally, I don't plan to negotiate with Varys. However, currently he is our best lead in finding Entrati. So, if you would please allow us to take the lead on this one.
Randall
If things
kind
turn
of-
south and we are in imminent danger, I would be the first to know, and you will be notified immediately. If there is anything else you wish to be read in on, we are more than happy to do so.
Yes.
I would
Just
like a
what-
more detailed brief in any regard of what happened in Sargoth. Maybe Finch will be able to read me in, or you will later. I am here to assist you in your investigations and be extra muscle. Unless there is something information-wise that is needed that you do not know in this discussion, I will stay quiet. But I will not sit at the table with this being. I will be nearby.
Very
I think that is
wise.
wise, and we will be able to
And
respect those
with
wishes.
that, Randall nods to you guys, and he walks into the tavern.
And
Seemingly, he is not doing it as to run in and start a talk or anything. He is not a part of you guys. If you guys want to investigate, you can investigate. He's separating himself from you guys in this environment.
I wish I had at least
Can I?
told us
Can
he was
I?
going to do
Can
this.
I? As he's walking off, can I follow him for a moment and just for a moment and whisper to him? It's like if we're in danger, and I'll like flash a hand signal, and I'll literally do this.
Okay. He's going to turn around, do this, and say, I need some hard liquor if we're going to get through this.
I understand, but if we're in danger, this is the sign.
Okay.
Does he have a Rocky?
Not for you guys.
Okay, that's what I
Well,
thought.
I guess someone get us some rooms, and I guess everyone else let's put the cart in the stable. Unless we have to ask
Okay.
permission for it. How
The
does
stable is
imagine if-
locked. You guys
Yeah.
do find that the stable is locked.
Imagine if Varys is just like waiting for us at the bar.
Well, hello.
Well, well. You want to head inside and go to the front desk, Arcus?
He's just in there in a cocktail dress with a slit to the knee.
I would really hope not.
Hello, boys.
Hello, boys!
We're literally walking into a
Um,
gay bar right now.
There's a reason why the Platinum Ambulance is not a very commonly
Well
known.
Oh, it's commonly known. That's why they gave themselves the look. And then we're like,
The two
Oh.
guys looked at each other. That's true.
we've never heard of that one before.
It's the Gentleman's Club for gentlemen.
Leopold, go ahead and fetch us rooms and see if you can get the stable unlocked. I'll
Alright.
stick with the cart.
Well, I'll walk up to the front desk and
Flynn will stay with Ragged.
yeah. Before I do that, is anybody coming inside with me? On the off chance this is relevant.
Wayne,
Yeah, I'll go.
Sakir,
Alright.
what are you doing?
I'm good at charming people.
I feel like. Yeah, I'll go inside.
Alright, so Sakir, Wayne, and Leopold, you guys walk inside. There seems to be, like, a gnome woman on a very, very, very high stool behind the counter, with a book in front of her as she's, like, half passed out as she's writing in this book.
I'll give a little knock, knock, knock on the desk beside her.
Oh, Lord. What time is it? Ugh.
Too late to be having this discussion, but we need a room for the evening.
Absolutely.
And some room at the table.
Did you have a reservation already? If not, I believe all of our rooms are booked.
Rooms
She
are-
kind of flips through. We have 3 rooms with double beds that are booked out, that have not been checked into yet. We have I don't know how to pronounce this.
It's Amadeus.
Anadeus.
Yeah.
3 names rented in the 3 rooms rented in the name.
Yes,
They're
I'll-
already paid for.
We were supposed to be meeting a friend of ours here. I guess he decided to be magnanimous and get us rooms.
Apparently. And she reaches kind of under the desk and hands you these 3, like, comically large keys.
And then, do you have a key for the stable, if you would?
She says, it may be a tight fit. There is already a cart in there and a few horses. But yes, you're welcome to do your best.
That's what
I
she
will
said.
take that, go outside, and try not to look nervous.
I mean, we won't lose them.
Won't lose.
They're not that comically large.
You said comically large, brother.
Comically large is like
Comically
the
large
bolt being the
spoon.
size of one's finger.
What even is that? Is that like a brick?
He literally
just
picked
a
up a
brick.
brick. He literally picked up a brick like, this is my key. This is my favorite key.
Yeah, in order to get into the room, you have to smash the window, obviously.
I was gonna say, a brick is also my favorite kind of key.
Well,
Yeah, that might be even a little... That's probably well-sized. It's average.
Average?
That's maybe a little bit larger of a key, but they are comically large.
Is it comically large spoon size?
No, it is not comically large spoon size. We're not talking Payday 2 out here.
Yes. But as we leave, well, at the very least, we don't need to worry about rooms for the evening.
Yes, Thomas?
Yeah. While they're fetching rooms,
are you trying to lockpick this?
how easy is it to scale to the roof of the stables?
How
If
easy
I
is
peer
it
around for some barrels
if you
or anything like that stacked up that I can easily pop up
Roll
there.
me a luck check.
Linen has an immovable rod. He can give you a foothold.
I realize that. I have a +1 in luck.
Hey, Jade.
Three.
A 3. As you're kind of looking around, you notice, like, Lennon kind of looks around the side, and Lennon, you just pull out your staff, lock it in place, and kind of climb up on it and peer in. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Oh boy, let's see how well Linen can see.
We should have.
Lennon's like the only person without dark vision, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
9.
Dang.
Perfect
Yeah,
course.
and it shows. So as you peer in, it is pitch black inside. There's no light. You cannot see in.
Can I like cast what? Can I like whip out, like bring out a dagger, cast green flame blade for like a bit of light?
Yeah, sure. You cast it, and as you kind of swing out, just holding your blade, and like a little bit of flame dances and jumps off your blade, providing more light into the room and evaporates before it hits the ground. There is a pair of horses. There is a cart that does have a cover over it, so you can't see what's in the cart. However, nearby the the felt cloth and clothing for the horses themselves is a rainbow. It's just a smattering of different colors.
Technicolor clone.
DM, since I can't find a way up to the roof, I'm just how far up is the roof?
So as you walk around, you do a full loop of the building, and you're about to climb up as you just see this little green flame bounce inside the room.
I kind of peer over to the wall. I'm assuming I see Linen crouching on his immovable rod.
Yeah.
Okay.
Horses.
I'm gonna radio Linen and be like, good idea, and just in case we can't get a key, but I'm going on the roof. I'm going to get a scout out. How high up is the roof?
The beginning of the roof's like rounded edge. There's not like a slant that you can reach up and grab. Is about 11 or 12 feet up.
Okay, cool. Highest point I could see on that roof, I'm just going to...
Teleport to.
Yep.
All right.
And then I'm going to get to the highest vantage point, and I'm going to be scouting about the streets, people coming in and out of the
Alright.
tavern.
Roll me a
Things like
perception
that.
check, but then also roll me just a simple dexterity check.
A simple dexterity.
Mm-hmm. The perception check comes first, so you do get a view around before you start to slip.
Damn.
Shit, my room.
Wait, does everyone here
Okay.
actually have dark vision? That's so.
They're all elves.
Ah.
You forget. They are all elves.
17 perception.
Santa's
Okay.
little helpers.
And
So
then just a
as
straight
yeah,
dexterity.
straight dexterity, just d20 plus dex mod. So as you kind of look around, there's pretty much nobody on these streets, which is actually very surprising. Like, this is the tavern district. It's late night. Like, you would expect people to be out drinking and partying. There is a little bit of that, but it seems to be leaning more towards the coast where, like, the suites and the island resorts seem to be. But, like, the actual taverns and inns on this street, there doesn't seem to be much here. Continuing to peer around, seeing the rest of your party. In fact, the group who went inside, so Leopold, Wayne, and Sakir are actually exiting the building at this point. And then you peer up to the second floor, and you do note, while most of the rooms of the windows you can see on this side of the building have no light, there are 2 rooms that still have light coming from them. And as you kind of twist your body to look more directly at the rooms, your left foot catches on a slippery point and you slide off the roof.
Can I land with style? I'm assuming in front of the stable.
Some style. You try and, like, do almost a superhero landing, but you're too out of control, so you kind of, like, do a tuck and roll and stand right back up.
And there's the party right in front of me.
And there's the party right in front of you, yep.
And it's kind of
Just
just like.
dusting myself off a little bit.
And it's kind of just like.
Well, good news
While you're down
and
there.
bad news. Well, I suppose interesting news more than anything. Also, I didn't mean to cut you off, Wayne. What were you saying?
Said while you're down there.
I've got some justice to serve to you.
Yes, it appears that Varus was... I'm too tired to think of a good word for it. He bought us rooms for the evening.
That's not scary.
No, and I believe that odds are the clown troupe, Harlequins, is in the stable. At least the cart is.
No.
I don't know.
All I see is a
And I look at
colorful
Lennon.
cart all I see is a cart with some colorful cloth in it.
Well, I'll pull up the stable
Oh.
key. We can go inside and look. I'll unlock
Yippee!
it. Who's actually, like, getting the horse?
Lynn's climbing down from.
I'm assuming since no one else can reverse park a carriage, I guess Rikus will park it.
Quickly, hit the other carriage just enough so we can see inside the cart, but make it seem like an accident.
It'll be a very tight fit. They effectively have to be touching for them to both fit in this little stable.
Well, we're parking it in there.
Us.
Yes.
We'll make it fit.
Just, like, briefly poking my head up under the tarp. Does it look like a Harlequin troop?
As you lift it up, there are no masks as described of the Harlequins, but there is a series of colorful, like, ribbons and deflated balloons, or should I say uninflated, as they seem to have not been used yet. They're like little staffs and rings and stuff. This absolutely does seem like the cart of some kind of traveling performance group.
Any any names or markings or
Nope.
wording? Nope. Well, this could be any performing group.
Yes, but considering we know Varus is here, I think it's best we be on our guard for clowns.
I could make a sweep of their place. investigate things for a couple of minutes. Make sure they're not hiding anything.
Should
I will note that of my brief time up on the roof, most of the rooms in the tavern were dark, except for 2, and I'm going to point them out to Sakir and the others.
How high up is that?
The second floor, it's not any more than like 15 feet up.
So that means that we could just teleport into those rooms.
please don't.
You could.
Are we gonna pull off another
Rest-
teleport and look through the
We
window?
could. If we could see into the room, just
Should we do?
Look. We physically do not have the resources to. He used his teleport. Mine is relying on a second level spell slot, and I have 2 of those. We're gonna be 2 men down if we do that.
He has more
Well,
than one
I-
teleport today.
I have 2.
Yeah. I have 3 total.
I thought it was
Oh,
gonna
you have
be
3
okay.
total? I must have 3 then.
Yeah.
Unless one of you 2 can.
The Anadeus brothers have
teleport,
3 total.
They have
so-
teleportations equivalent to proficiency modifier, as it is a racial feature.
Yeah.
Because we're cool.
Still, even if we did, I would need to teleport the rest of us in with the second level, with all of my second level spell slots, and it'd still be 1 man down. So I suppose we should just go up
Or,
the stairs and walk
yes.
in.
You mean
That is what you
I-
could all
have
do.
to teleport?
I tell
Yeah.
you what, you all decide how you are going to get into that lit room, which may or may not mean anything. I'm going to go book us a separate room.
There are
You
no
cannot. They're full.
Yeah.
Wait, they're
full.
actually full.
Yes. Did Randall get a room here? Where did he get a room?
He just went to the bar.
He just went to the bar.
We have 3 rooms with double beds in each of them, so.
Yeah, so somebody
We should
would
offer him one of our rooms.
need Randall. Well, we
Lennon,
can
do you?
cannot-
I'm gonna turn to
Yeah.
Lennon and be like, "Do you wish to break and enter? I know I
No.
enjoy it quite thoroughly, according to some." And I'm going to look at Leopold.
No. What? We had this discussion at the apartments in Sargoth. Why would we?
There's even less of a justification to do it here. The man's leaving an invitation for us, practically.
Can we just have us? Can we just go to sleep and have a chat in the morning?
We could very
Lennon-
well do that, but
Lennon, I think you need to experience more of life. Come with me, and I
What?
sling my arm around his shoulder and I drag him towards the inn to go to the bar.
Linen will visit.
Let
Let me go.
Guys, hold on. I'm not necessarily opposed to getting Lennon drunk, but we should handle business first. I don't particularly want to sleep in the same building as Varus, if at all possible.
Your heart's not in
as
it,
you're
Lennon.
as you're kind of saying this to us as we're walking away. I'm going to radio to you and say, I have a strange feeling that the unfortunate company will come to us.
What if he likes his beer?
Shouldn't we do that sober, though? Or not hungover in the evening?
If Lennon can't hold a single beer, then we're all going to learn something new.
Looks
And I'm going to walk, continue walking, dragging him.
looks at my constitution. Uh-oh.
I'm gonna turn to Leopold after they walk off. I do not believe that we can trust everything that we are hearing and seeing at the moment. Call it just terrible intuition, but I'm inclined not to believe in the rooms that we were just given.
I do agree that it's suspicious, but even if we're walking to a trap, this is still our best lead. I think we need to at least investigate the rooms, if not necessarily sleep in them this evening.
That is why I propose that we allow Randall to have one of our rooms. We do not sleep in the other ones, and we stay in touch with Randall and see what happens to him.
I do propose in using the man as bait. Sakir, you are a horrible person.
Honor.
Honor!
It's not necessarily about honor, it's about being a decent being. A decent elvish human, whatever being.
Many of the rooms in this hotel have windows. That is something that I think that is a necessity for pretty much any place a person is to sleep. We will be able to keep watch over him. We could have one of us in the room as well, but I think that it would be best if we had a test subject that can lay in wait. If you think that it'd be best to tell Randall about this, we can. I think it would make more sense. Either way, we should give Randall a room.
We can give Randall a room. We can go to an entirely different tavern. Look around. We're in a district of taverns. If we need a safe place to sleep, we don't need to bloody put another man's life at risk. Have you no honor? I don't know what it is like as a Sharakai coming from where you do, but I am a nobleman and I have certain duties to those who are lower than me, and that is to not be a bloody ass.
Typically, if you have a bloody ass, you need to go see a doctor.
Yes, and I do
Did
not want
somebody
Randall to go
say-
see a doctor when he wakes up being drained of blood or whatever the virus is going to do to him.
Are you listening to my reason? This is about strategy. I am not defiling my honor through this.
I'm fine
I'm
with
saying that we should
strategy.
watch over the room. I'm not saying we neglect him entirely and leave him to his death. In fact, I've even brought up that we can have someone else in the room as well. I just think it makes the most sense for us to not spend gold, put a man in a room where he can, for free, a nicer tavern as well, and then we can watch him.
If one of us is in the room, that kind of defeats the purpose of having bait, because then one of us just becomes the bait.
Yes, that's why I say we don't go into the tavern at all.
But if we leave him in there, there's nothing saying Varys can't just sneak in there where we can't look. It's not like those windows have perfect visibility. And besides, even if we did want to get in there, that just runs into the teleportation problem earlier. Sure, you and your brother can teleport in there perfectly fast, and I can teleport one of us in there perfectly fast, but that's still going to leave us 3-man down versus Varys, who might be very angry if we disappoint him. If we're going to disappoint him, we at least shouldn't be in the same room as him.
I thought all nobles took math classes.
What do you mean math classes?
Well, your math is a bit off. If 4 of us can teleport, that's not 3 men down.
Hold on, you can teleport?
Well, yes.
I did not know you could teleport. That was my mistake.
I'm pretty sure all of us can.
Lennon is the only one who cannot.
Even then, in my case,
by the way, at this point, Lennon's comment about does someone have a bloody ass is as he is being dragged into the tavern by Arikis. As the pair of you enter in, the tavern is completely empty beside a now completely fallen asleep on her book gnome woman. There does seem to be
Where's Randall?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
There is a dwarven man behind the counter now who has finally kind of gotten out of his midnight slumber to serve Randall, and there is actually a second human man at the bar that seems to be chatting Randall up at this moment.
Okay.
Told you.
Hold on. I was gonna say, if he's chatting it up, maybe it is a gay bar.
I'm going to kind of nudge the innkeeper.
She. Oh my lord, I need to go to sleep. Yes, what can I do for you?
You met the other Enideus, but Rikis Enideus is here. If you can if possible, if you could let our patron know that we have arrived.
I do not know if he is awake or asleep. However, he also bought the room for that man there. I don't know which room he's in. I just know that he rented out all of the rooms that were not currently rented a few days ago. He has 9 of the rooms
Out of curiosity, how many beds per room?
Some of them were 2s, some of them were 1s. There was a 4-bed bunk as well. He's got 9 of the rooms rented.
And what of the 3 for the Enideus brothers?
Those are all 2-bed rooms.
Oh, perfect count. All right, thank you. Yes, if you wish to get some sleep, I'm sure you can.
She closes this book. This book is a large book. It probably weighs about a quarter of what she does as she, drags it off the bench and slides, 3 feet to the ground off of the stool and just seemingly carries it into a back room.
Rebecca, so you gonna let me go?
Damn.
You're actually
What type
just
of-
dragging him. You haven't let go.
Lennon, have you ever had any ales before?
I mean, last time I tried, I think someone took my ale, so. And then the first time.
No, I
tried,
took
someone my
Leopold's
ale.
last time. And
First time I
I'm
tried,
going to
someone took my ale too, so. Probably not.
I'm going to drag him up to the counter and sit down next to Randall. And I'm going to turn to the dwarf and say, 2 of your house ales, please.
The dwarf says, "All right, coming right up."
And I'm going to look at Randall and look at the other fellow and say, Randy, who's this fine gentleman?
Randall kind of looks at you almost with like a demeaning look in his eyes as you called him Randy. And he's going to say, "This is Santel, my new friend, apparently. We were talking about swordplay. Would you like to join?"
I know a little bit about swordplay. Although I consider myself more at range, and I kind of knock my holster a little bit, but I do carry a blade at my hip as well, and I knock my other hip that has a rapier. Tell me, what style of blade do you partake in?
You note in particular, Randall kind of taps his greatsword on his back. Santel kind of looks at you and says, "I specialize in a very intriguing form of blade." He kind of reaches to his side and he whips out from its holster a blade that extends out for a short period before a crescent shape occurs. However, you note very awkwardly, the outside of the crescent is blunted, and the inside is where the blade is.
So you could say the inside uses to cut and the outside is uncut.
You could say that, yes.
I was groaning because I thought he was about to whip out a blood dagger. Not
curves
because of
the
the
That would be funny.
Yeah.
That's an interesting.
Oh, it's a blood dagger, alright.
That's an interesting weapon. What's it called? I've not seen that one before. Similar to sickles, but not.
Yes, it is similar to a sickle. It is used in most mining shafts where I'm from. In using some of the more high magic equipment, it causes there sometimes to be trapped limbs in such occasions, as which this blade can be used as effectively a press to cut one's limb off to save their life. In other situations, the blunt side can be used for a variety of different things, knocking out loose rock and rubble in the area. You can reach it into such devices to pry out something that is blocking the mechanism. They're not a very common blade, but they're a little bit more common up by the Dosian Mountains, where I'm from.
But why is it called?
Losing a limb is never fun.
No,
I
it
see
is
you
not.
still have yours intact.
I certainly seem to at this point in my life. However, with the current lines of work, it is quite possible that won't be the case forever.
And tell me, what brings you to team? You're quite far away from home.
In a bit of a performance troupe, you could say, as I was mentioning to our mutual friend here earlier. Tricks of the trade, And I say that because in our show, I do lose a limb every time. Or seemingly do. Before magically it reappears later upon.
That's neat.
You see that
When's your next performance?
He says, "Oh, we don't have anything booked right now. You'd have to talk with the troop master if you wish to do so." You note, what's your passive insight, Rikus?
17.
The, grin on his face is absolutely a shit-eating grin. He seems to be aware of who he's talking to.
Oh, Reich is kind of has been talking to him in the sense that he probably did assume, probably did know exactly who I am.
But if he doesn't know, he'll peek over. Oh, what's your troop called? We might have heard of you.
He kind of looks from Linen, and he looks down as the dwarven bartender sets down an ale in front of Linen. He kind of looks at Linen and then looks at the ale, and then looks back at Rikus, and says, he sighs really big. We are called the Laughing Faces.
Oh.
Was that your carriage that we parked
Yes.
next to?
I would assume it's the
I,
one that you investigated in the stables, yes.
Yeah. Lennon here did do that, didn't he?
Beautiful.
Well, I took careful notice to back in our carriage and not scratch yours. It seems so delicately
We appreciate
painted.
that. Yes, we appreciate that.
Did everybody else pick up on what I picked up on? Because he specified investigate. How did he know that?
I'm not there.
Magic.
I'm not there either.
I'm not either. I'm just calling that out because that feels worrying that he knows that.
You didn't
The
happen to
dwarf is the
see
one
me.
who said what they're called.
I'm gonna continue with this little.
Real
and
quick,
say,
but before you talk, Nate, what did you just say?
The dwarf is the bartender, right?
Yes, the dwarf is the bartender.
But he's the one who said we're called the Laughing Faces.
No,
or
he's
had
not.
You switched back?
I had switched back. The dwarf has not spoken really. He just set the ales down, and then going back to Centel, kind of sighs. We're called the Laughing Faces. As this is happening, there's a pair of people who come down the stairs. A human and a halfling come down the stairs, kind of joking with each other, and they kind of find a seat, and the dwarf, seemingly knowing their usual order, immediately begins preparing a pair of drinks.
Upon being handed the drinks, I'm going to kind of force the drink in front of Lennon more and say, and hold mine up to cheer and say, to somewhat first drinks and newfound friends. Does he have a drink?
Yes, both Randall and Santel have a drink.
All right. I'm going to cheer them. And then I'm going to lean to Lennon and just say, just follow my lead. Knocking glasses, and then I will down some.
Lynn will take a sip.
At this point, do Secure Leopold and Wayne intend on entering, or are they still having their discussion? Because we're going to go back to you guys.
Say.
Oh, I was going to do one last thing. I was going to ask one last thing after taking a sip of ale.
Okay, we'll ask this one last question, and then we'll swap back to them.
Okay. Shit, what was his name again?
Centel?
Centel, that's right. Say, Centel, you didn't happen to see me slip off the roof, did you?
I did not, sadly. It would have been quite the performance of the landing, I'm sure.
I landed very successfully.
Insight.
You're
Please.
not here.
Randall
Rikus.
Randall seems actually very, very well composed. Quite a bit more so than you would have expected, Rikus, as he is making no strange facial expressions, sitting in between the two of you as you're having this conversation. Going back outside, Secure Leopold Wayne.
Leopold will turn to Wayne and say, Wayne, as a man of justice, surely you can see why this is morally wrong. Back me up here.
He's a man of justice, not a man of morals.
Is
What
it
are you
just
referring
to
to as
use-
morally wrong?
To use Randall as bait.
I'm
Surely
saying
you can see the injustice in it.
Well, as Sakir said, sometimes morals can be a little bit flimsy.
that is not what I said.
Some-
Justice must be brought. So the way I see it is we use him as a pawn in our game, and when they inevitably strike, then we rain holy justice upon them.
I regret going
You are
and
the-
trying to put you on my side.
You are the worst priest I've ever met, and I am going to go find your brother to talk some sense into you. And Leopold will go inside.
Alright. Is there a building across the street, Zach?
There are buildings. They are all occupied taverns and inns, though.
Yes, but is there a rooftop both close enough to...
Yes, you could
Is there-
teleport up to it. These are not skyscrapers.
Right. Basically what I'm looking for is a perch. If across the street works best, or if there's a building nearby where I can still see into one of the floors, the windows of that upper floor of the Aboleth's.
I will note to you.
Platinum Aboleth.
So the Platinum Aboleth has no second floor windows that face forward across the street. They only have windows that
so
face to their sides. The reason why he was able to see into the windows is because the stable is to the side of the building.
So I could get on top of the stable if it has a roof, or go onto the building next to it and see into the window.
And you would be able to
across the
see
way.
into 6 of the rooms-ish. They're dark, and it is dark outside.
Right,
There's
but
not
2 of
much
them have
a-
lights on.
2 of them do have lights on, yes. They are not very large windows, but yes, they do have lights on.
So would it make more sense to teleport to a ledge on the building where I could peer into the window?
Reminder, rounded edges. It is
Right.
very difficult to stay on a roof unless you are near its peak or like on a ridged window area where you can like straddle it.
Okay,
And
it's tempting. I'd like to at least note their location so I can find them within the building.
Okay.
And then I'll follow Leopold.
Okay.
As
Wait.
we begin to head inside, I'll join you. I'll be like, I feel like that went really well.
I
I
think
think he'll come
that
around to our side.
it was my side and whatever you serve.
Our side.
Yes, that, no. Please. And he stops and he looks at him. Yes, I was trying to be a friend earlier, but there's sometimes, especially in cases of moral disagreements, and when I want something, that I do not want to associate with you. As bluntly and as respectfully as I can put it.
what
Thank
the fuck?
I don't want to associate with you.
You have
So,
loose morals until you say you have loose morals, and then it becomes a problem. I see.
As you guys are walking
As you begin
in,
your
can I-
conversation,
and
your monologue,
keep
he
in
just
mind,
plugs his
Leopold
ears.
is a little bit ahead of these two.
Yeah, Leopold is a little bit ahead. So Leopold enters in, and then about 10 seconds later,
Just
Yep.
before we enter the doorway, while his hands are over his ears and he's walking forward, I'm going to cast a light directly in front of his face on the surface of the door. And as soon as it opens, I drop it.
So as you open the door, you're like flashbanged, and you're like rubbing it out of your eyes as Leopold had just walked in. You kind of walk in as though you've been hit in the face.
I'm gonna
as you kind of
punch the
step in.
door, because obviously something's attacking me.
Go ahead and what is your base unarmed strike damage?
Let me see. It's pretty good, if I remember correctly. Unarmed strike +7, 6 damage.
6 damage. So as you punch out, you punch through the door immediately. Just of these like tavern doors, the right door just has a massive fist hole through it. And as you kind of regain your eyes, you kind of pull your arm back through. And now Leopold, who just walked in, Wayne behind you, who's probably laughing his ass off at this point, and 3 members plus Randall, Lennon, and Rikus all turn towards the door.
I'm looking around. I there's something here. And after a beat, I'm gonna turn around and look at you, Wayne.
Lennon will turn to what is it, Centel?
Centel.
You guys say you're the troop, but I think we have some pretty good jokes.
Centel gives a hearty laugh at that. Oh yes, you certainly do seem to have some jokes. I don't know if they serve crackheads in here.
I'm
Do
gonna
I
mumble
hear
something
that
about
comment?
being
Is
tired, and then take out
Sorry.
my massive key, put it on my shoulder, and walk upstairs.
Do I hear that comment as I walk up?
Yes, you absolutely do.
As they say that note, obviously I saw them. They're coming in. I will radio to the 3 of them and fill them in on the situation. It's like, at the bar, Centel here is part of the troop. Other 2 unidentified, assumedly part of the troop, possibly.
Question. This isn't something we've really established before, but excuse me. I assume Rocky talking is
Psychic.
not quiet. Oh, it's psychic.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I allow you to activate them. Now, you do have to focus on it. So you may go just like staring 1,000-yard stare for a few seconds. It's not necessarily like a completely
I'm 1,000 yards staring into my ale.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like-
I was about to wonder if Sentinel had
With
caught
a
on.
high enough passive perception or insight, I effectively will know when the NPCs will know when you're doing it. But you could pass it off as autism. Like that's fine.
Rikus is autistic.
But
We're all
walking
playing
up to it-
D&D online on a weeknight. We're all autistic.
That's just scheduling issues. That's not autism. But walking up to Rikus and Lennon, seeing that there is a bit of a break in the conversation after the cocaine mention, Leopold is going to crease his brow and say, Rikus, your brother is being an ass. Can you talk sense into him?
The last time he took sense from me.
I take it that's a no.
Yeah.
Did
He's
you
not
guys do-
one to convince. Let's just say that.
Can I at
Last
least
time I
get the
tried-
two-
Last time I really tried to talk sense into him, and I'm kind of waving around my glasses. Well, let's.
Isn't that the time you almost murdered him? I'll have what they're drinking.
Wasn't that?
The dwarf just completely confused, like, pours out a full pitcher's worth of the ale and just sets it on the counter along with, like, 3 extra cups. And then kind of goes into a corner, still at the bar, and just kind of props himself up against the wall.
But I'm kind of waving my glass around and talking. He's like, okay, that really doesn't narrow it down. However, the last time I truly tried to talk sense into him, let's just say he went AWOL and he was considered a deserter.
Wait, I thought you guys had got into a scuffle in Sargoth.
I don't think he's counting that one.
Ooh,
Oh,
brotherly tea.
I just wanted to punch him then. That doesn't count.
Can I at least get the 2 of you on my side so we can have a majority vote to stop those 2 from being stupid?
And
least
what
attempt to.
exactly is the stupid here? Because according to you, I can be quite stupid sometimes too.
Randall's still at the table, correct?
Yes. And at this
He's
moment,
right next to me.
Sentel takes the pitcher, pours himself some more of the drink, and he actually leaves the bar and goes and sits down with the other two people who just entered in.
Well,
I will-
shit!
for
You scared away our new friend.
Well, sorry, but I'll like kind of stage whisper to Rikus. They want to use Randall's bait to try and draw out Varus and sleep in our rooms and potentially get him killed.
I'm gonna like look very, very blankly up at you. And just like slowly sip my ale, set it down, and say, "We have 3 rooms. They're double bunks. Let's just all sleep in one room."
I don't. I can't tell if you're being intentionally obtuse or if you didn't understand what I said. Please tell me you understood what I said.
Yes. But what I'm saying is the solution is let's just all sleep in the same room. We didn't pay for them.
Not my finest choice, but it's better than the alternative.
Randall can
Did
sleep
you
wherever
get-
he wants. Leopold, you get the other bed. And the rest of us, well, we don't really care.
Say, Lennon, did you hear the stage whisper?
Yes. I mean,
You understand why I'm angry at Sakia then, correct?
I mean, yeah, of course. Yes, and I don't really agree with. I don't agree with them. But I mean, Rekus
Hey!
brings up. Rekus has a good point.
And as soon as you say that, I'm going to cheer your glass and
I
take
mean,
a
it's-
swig. And I'm gonna grab the bottom of your glass and encourage you to take a swig.
Kill like sputter like.
It's not
You want-
necessarily that I'm opposed to sleeping here, it's the fact that... Randall, but... Enough of this, I'm going to go tell those two that they're outvoted.
So, Sakir, you had begun going upstairs, correct?
Yes.
And Wayne, you were just kind of sitting at the bar as well, yes? Just making sure
Yeah, I
you
walked
were...
up to the bar and ordered the same
Okay.
as what they're having.
So, Sakir,
Oh, yes.
as you find yourself walking up the stairs, kind of like mumbling to yourself, just honor. So the stairs go up and then round over to the side and flatten out. And then there is a left turn to where there is 6 rooms on either side. You look at your key and you see that it is room number 10, which would be on the end on the right. As you begin walking down the hallway, one of the doors opens as you pass by.
Son of a bitch.
All right.
And someone peeks their head out after you and says, "Going to bed so soon?"
Actually, I was looking for a friend of mine. He's a wizard who has been around here. He actually booked our rooms. Do you happen to know him?
As you turn around, in this dark hallway that's barely lit, you see a shining pair of blue eyes peer from the doorway. And he says, "Ha, quite funny. Have you met any of our compatriots downstairs yet?"
Yes. Some.
That doesn't sound very convincing, Sakir.
No, it does not.
Well, if you want to go to bed, you can miss the conversation. I was just about to join them. And you see he,
Alright.
like, goes back into his room and seems to grab a cloak and a book and a couple other things. And he kind of steps out into the hallway. Those keys are quite large, aren't they? It's kind of strange. As he closes the door
Comically.
behind him.
I'll say,
That is
as that is happening, may I do something and potentially Rikus since he is raising
To
his
be
finger
fair,
as well.
you guys were just RPing for like 3 minutes as he walked up the
Fair
stairs.
enough.
So he's going to look at you. "You're welcome to stash your things in your room. You can meet us here in a moment." And he kind of looks over his shoulder once more and begins heading downstairs.
I'm gonna immediately, when he's out of line of sight, just broadcast ahead and then say, yeah, he's coming down.
I'm gonna talkie back because I was intending to, and I'm just gonna be like, I think Leopold's on his way, but yeah, you're outvoted. We're all just gonna sleep in the same room.
Leopold. So as you leave the table and begin walking upstairs, you kind of pointedly look at Wayne as you walk by, just like, ha, and then you get to the stairs. Yes,
I was
say
gonna
your
say,
piece.
can I describe what I was about to do? Because I was going to do something a little bit different. I was going to look at Wayne, see that Sakir's not there, because I didn't see Sakir go upstairs. I'm gonna ask Wayne, where's Sakir?
I think he's taking a piss outside.
I walked right by you guys to go upstairs.
I was walking towards the bar. I didn't see that.
I know.
I
full well
assume
he's
that
taking a
their
piss.
table doesn't look at the stairs.
Yeah, Wayne knows full well Sakir went upstairs.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess, was that an earshot of those two? Because, I mean, it's not like I was trying to hide that question.
It's definitely
Would they
within
even
earshot, but
detect
they were not. Wayne's probably the only person who like actively saw Sakir run upstairs.
Yeah. Well, in that case, continually very frustrated. Rather than go upstairs with this information, he is going to go outside. Well, actually, would he?
You're pretty flustered.
You're gonna watch me?
Take a
No, I
piss.
wanted to go and
Yes.
find you to tell you that you are outvoted.
You're
Because
pretty
I've heard
flustered
it
at
is
the
easy
moment.
person. I'm very frustrated because I don't think you all are taking the situation as serious as it should.
Nope.
I'm just going to wait for
outside.
I'm just going to wait for Skia to be done with his piss.
And about then is
I'm
when
gonna
you get-
pour an ale for Leopold.
About then is when you guys get radioed. He's coming downstairs.
I'd like to try his door.
As you
Unless
go,
I saw him lock it.
he did not lock it behind him.
Just a...
So yeah, the door opens.
So we're going to break into his apartment again.
It opens. I'm just gonna look in, and then I'll close the door.
As
Those are my next
it
directions.
opens, this is a double bunk room, and there is a female elf sitting on one of the beds, seemingly not entirely clothed, across the way, and she.
That's okay. No one likes me anyway. Close the door.
It should have been me. It should have been me.
Rikus over here, like clenching his fists. It's like, fuck!
All right. So, as you kind of slowly close the door, do you head downstairs after Sharius?
Yes. And that's all I gathered from the room, right?
You looked. Go ahead and roll me a perception check. I will say I'm gonna make you do this at disadvantage
Naked.
Probably because he was distracted.
because you were a little distracted as soon as you opened the door. So we'll see
Hold
what
on.
else you saw in the room before you closed the door.
Okay.
Hold on.
18 and 11.
Yeah.
That's not
The
bad.
woman was actually gender bent Stolius.
Gender bent Stolius
So
is
14.
crazy.
14 at disadvantage is not bad.
14 on disadvantage is not bad. You do immediately clock that the there's a little like lamp lit on the desk. It seemed that he was doing some serious writing work, but he picked up the book and like shoved it inside his cloak before he went downstairs. There are two beds. One of them is not messed with at all, like completely still made. Along with that, there does seem to be some clothes strewn about, but as a whole, it's a pretty well put together room. The suitcases, like their bags that they have, like duffel bags, they are unpacked. So it does seem they've been here for a little bit.
Alright. Okay, cool.
And
Thanks.
you do see a pair of masks at the end of the bed that are hung
Masks. And I can't tell what they are, I just know they're masks.
there. They are not facing towards you, but one of them is a half mask. So you would assume these to be some of the Harlequin masks that were mentioned earlier.
Oh. Okay.
And
Okay.
you open the door and you peer from the right to the left, and the left is when you lock eyes with the elf, and you're like, No one likes me anyway. And you close the door.
It's okay if you think bad of me.
So, as Sakir, maybe 20 seconds behind him, the seemingly half-elf man with bright blue eyes, but then with this alias being shot, what is it, Sharius Lapalm, walks down the stairs.
Was it Sharius Lapalm?
Sharius Lapalm was the name of the head of the Laughing Faces.
Yeah.
So DM, since I was told that he was on his way, can I clock reasonably that the first set of legs coming down the stairs is in fact Varys?
You would guess so.
Okay.
Jade, you just raised your hand.
I was straight. No, good. Nothing.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds.
Don't worry, you got.
I'm going
One,
to.
two.
I am going to. As soon as I see his blue eyes, basically see the full body. Because I don't really care if he knows that I'm doing this. Rikus will cast Hunter's Mark, and he will just whisper under his breath as he's taking another sip of ale. He'll just say, "Nota," which means mark in Latin, but that's okay.
Yeah. Are there any somatic components to that spell? I'm just curious.
Nope, just verbal.
Just verbal? Okay, will do. So, you mark him. As he takes his steps down the stairs, he smiles very brightly and kind of opens his arms towards everything. You see he immediately looks towards his trio of compatriots at the table who seem to almost give a slight cheer and jeer at him as he walks down the stairs. He kind of looks from them, looks to you guys, kind of smirks at Randall, and then looks at the door, sees the just gaping hole in the front door, and he kind of takes a couple quick steps and does a bit of a skip and a jump as he slides over towards the bar, and he sees the dwarf, and he throws a platinum coin on the table and says, "Apologies for the door. As per usual, this whole establishment is on my tab as of right now, correct?" And the dwarf kind of sleepily nods his head. And Varys kind of slides the platinum down the counter closer to where he sat, and then looks down the line, grabs the pitcher and one of the empty jugs, and begins pouring himself a thing of ale. He's actually sitting right next to you, Wayne. As he slides up onto the bar, he kind of looks at you. How we doing?
You said he hops up on the bar?
I'm to the bar, not on the bar. I'm to the
Like,
bar. So on one of the stools beside the bar.
Our patron. Thank you for the rooms.
No problem. It is, no offense to them, but it is quite a cheaply made establishment.
Well, I would hate to damage it any further, and I just look at Sakir.
Who, at this point, has just appeared at the opening of the stairway.
And then I'll peer over at Sakir and then peer back at Varys, kind of with a smirk on my face.
And Varys is going to lean in towards you guys and whisper. He's going to say, "I left my door on lock. I say it's 9 out of 10 times that he opened it before we left."
Probably.
He's back really soon.
You
mean sure he opened it?
Soul Secure upstairs.
Yes, I saw him upstairs.
thought he was outside taking a piss. Ugh.
Huh.
If he was
Strange.
taking a piss, I absolutely would have known. At least I'm pretty sure I would have known. He was wearing thick pants.
He is a sneaky one.
Are we quite finished with the small talk? Why are you here, Varys?
No. We can't skip the civilities of this. Did you or did you not open his door? We're taking bets.
That is a very
Taking
serious
bets.
question.
And I have a gold on the table saying that you did.
He's got gold on the table as well.
I'll have you know that there was a beautiful elf woman who would be very, very jealous that you did not get to meet, as she's probably fully clothed at this point.
I'm going to retract my gold coin since we both tied on the bet. I'm going to slam my fist down and say, "Fuck." That's all I'm going to say.
As you say that, he's going to look up and he's going to say, I'm sure you made Charmesia quite uncomfortable. Not really. She doesn't care about that kind of thing. However, it is still rude that you opened it. I'm going to preface that.
And it is rude that you ran away from the people who have been providing for you for quite some time. And furthermore, went ahead and made Pax Olamus contract a vampiric disease. And here's the thing. I don't know what you have done or what you haven't done. The biggest mark on your record is the fact that we do not know anything that has been going on with you for the past 3 weeks.
It has not
Be
been
honored
3
if you'd
weeks.
let me
It's
know.
barely been a week.
Barely been 2.
Is it actually been?
It's
Only
been
barely
like
been 2.
12 days, and weeks
Okay,
are
my bad.
9-day weeks. So it's been like a week and a third.
My bad.
Oh.
I actually thought it was 3 weeks.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
We can
As
secure.
as you say that and begin talking about this, he's just like, yes. And he looks over towards the dwarf and he says, do you mind giving us the room? I doubt anyone else will be coming today. And the dwarf behind the counter says, sure, I'll go to sleep. If you need any alcohol, just leave gold on the counter. I know you're good for it. And he walks into the back room, the same one that the gnome walked into earlier.
To be fair to Secure, a lot has happened over in the past 12 or so days.
Sometimes weeks can feel like months, especially with this group.
As you guys say that, anyone with a passive perception of over 15 notices the halfling on the table behind you guys gets up to walk over towards the door and kind of has to do a jump, but taps the door and seems to cast a spell, and the door seems to regrow the section that had been punched through before going back to his table and sitting down again. Varys is going to look around and he's going to say, this feels weird staring down a line of 4 of you. I'm going to go sit at the table over there. And he grabs the pitcher and his drink and begins walking over towards like a booth that's on the corner of the room.
I'm going to grab my ale, shrug, grab another pitcher. Oh, well, before I do, I'm going to slap Randall on the back and kind of wink at him. And then I'm going to grab another pitcher, sling my arm around Lennon and says, well, let's go.
Is the booth big enough for all of us, or do we need to like pull up some extra
The
chairs?
booth is big enough.
I wouldn't sit at the booth either way. If there's a table like right across from it, that's where I'd sit. I'm
There
overly
is a
comfortable
table.
right now.
There is a table nearby.
I don't know if any of us particularly want to sit on the same side as Varys. That feels weird.
No, we'll let his compatriots take the other
I was gonna say it's a corner booth, and none of the other 3 get up to join. They all stay sitting. This is not a very large room. Like, you could be on the opposite side of the room and hear a normally voiced conversation. So everyone here will be privy to what is said, unless it is said in a very, very, very hushed whisper or mentally to one another. Randall takes a couple more sips at the bar and kind of looks after you guys. And then he actually goes and he sits down on the table next to Sentel. And just sits quietly there with them. Seemingly like just, okay, I guess. Regardless, so as you guys move to sit at the booth, does everybody besides Sakir sit at the booth.
Yeah.
Is there
Yep.
like floor supports for the roof above, or like the upstairs floor, like the floor columns kind of thing in the room, or is it?
There are 2 columns. There are 2 central pillars within the room. Yeah.
I'd probably go lean against one of them.
You probably go lean against one of them. Okay, so you're not too far from the table with Randall and Centel and the rest of them. You're probably like a couple feet away as you're just leaning on the central pillar. So the other 3 of you go and sit down with Varys. And Varys is going to say, "All right, inexorable investigators, ask away. I'm sure you have multiple questions."
I'm going to pull out my pipe and light it, and taking some puffs.
Do we want to start with the obvious?
As you say that, he points to Sakir and says, "He can't ask questions for now." Regardless, continue.
Let's save that for later. Let's at least take care.
He's
of the most
definitely
He's being
yes.
rude.
We'll say that. Well, he's. Go ahead, Lennon.
No, I was just saying. Well, at least let's before anything deteriorates, let's at least ask what we originally came to look for. And Varys, would you tell us if you knew? Do you know anything about the whereabouts of our missing Archmage Stolius?
We will get to that. I do know where he is, and yes, I will help you retrieve him. However, first of all, I will say, he takes out the book and places his hand on the book and says, "I solemnly swear not to possess any of you or charm you during this conversation." And he puts his book back in his cloak, and he says, "That book means a lot to me."
The fact that needed to be said.
Inside?
Go ahead and roll an
Like-
insight check.
I'm like,
Religion?
I kind of look like confused, like, what? I haven't seen someone swear on a book in a long time, so.
It's the
Well,
Bible.
he is from a long time ago. That would be crazy. A vampire swearing upon the Bible. Wouldn't he like burn his hands by touching it?
That's
That's
can I-
why. That's why it's so
why it's so
sacred.
serious.
Yeah.
Why
Can I
so
perceive what book it
serious?
was?
He quickly pulls it out. It just seems to be like a ledger or a notebook. Like there's no title on it or anything like that. With the 22 insight, he seems to be entirely truthful. He seems very jovial, actually, which is a little strange after your last meeting of like heavy intimidation compared to this.
If we can't ask about Stolius, could I ask what that book was out of idle curiosity?
He says, "With this book, you would know all of the secrets of me and my family." No, I'm joking. It is merely my current diary and spell book. It does mean a lot to me. It is bound off of the leather from the hide of a Zephytharian, it's similar to a bat. It's in a different language that I'm sure you may understand after deciphering the previous note in Sargoth. But regardless, it's effectively the hardened leather of a bat that was about the size of a rock, if you've ever heard of those beings. Or creatures.
Well,
Thank you.
if well, I'm sure we'll get to Entrati at some point. Well, let's talk about other things. First and foremost, when did you start this caravan? That's a new one.
The caravan has actually been going on for about the last 2.5 months. Since...
Well, you've been here for like at least that long. So, did
Well-
you start it?
Yes, I am the one who started it. My compatriots over there. He points towards the 3 people, and he is going to say, the one you've already met is Santel. That is Palat. And then the third one there is Kent. But with a Q. It's kind of weird. He's Kondurian. Regardless, those 3 are Spawn. And As he points at them, they all kind of laugh to themselves like it's some inside joke. He says, but we have a solid mixture in between that and normal people in the troop. They are all loyal, though.
Well, I mean, I guess that's good for you. Well, I guess to fill you in on our whereabouts, unless you already know.
I know of a short trip to Suno. I don't know what you were doing there. I will say I was looking into you. You did intrigue me. So I know a little bit more about you guys than you know of me, but that's alright. It's a 1v5. But I do not know where you've been for the last week. I know going north of Revedan. Outside of that, not really.
Well, in Suno, we were hunting down these weird. I don't know how to describe it.
They
were
spat
ram.
a lot of acid.
They spat a lot of acid. Their mouths open sideways, like vertically, and they looked like dinosaur, bipedal chicken-looking things. Don't know if you know
They're
anything
called
about those.
digesters.
Digesters. I have heard of a digester. There was none in my block in Carceri, however. Sadly. I'm sure they would have been very useful creatures to control.
Yep. Then after that,
They're
we
all
went up to the Iron Hills. Actually, took quite the scenic route. At least Lennon and I did. The rest of them took the road, but we were hunting down we were tracking down another fellow from Carceri. I don't know if you happen to know him. His name is Gendo.
Gendo.
Very large. Says he's from the moon giant. There's all mithril.
I know of moon giants. I will likely know of most creatures you encounter. However, I must remind you of the 112 blocks of Carceri, and the largest amount that were combined to ever see each other was 3, and I was not a part of that. I was actually in a standalone block.
And which block was that?
That was block 26, if memory serves me correctly, from the last 14 or so thousand years.
Oh, Gendo's from the 47th.
Well, beats me, I guess.
Well,
I am sorry, I must say, I am still very new to this land, and have mostly traveled east-west. I haven't traveled north much. Where exactly are the Iron Hills? I haven't had the chance to pick up a map.
literally
Do we have
directly north of Suno.
I'll say, do any of us have a map on us?
Would they be past the border of the Khatanate Empire?
Well, here. I'll tell you what. And I reach into I reach down to my bag that I set on the floor, and I open it, like rummage through a couple of different scroll cases. I open it up and say, as long as we get to the Entrati part eventually.
Well, how about this? We'll go from here. I have not been here the entire time of this operation. I'm sure
How
you
long
could
have you been here?
I've been here for 9 days. Maybe a little less than that at this point. Is 7 or 8 days, somewhere around there. I don't really keep track all that well. I'm still getting used to the new calendar, you know? I will denote, I do have a bit of... I will denote, I do have a bit of my own, family squabbles, as he points towards the Anadeus brothers. This is not my operation here, sadly. I am here as an assistant, one could say. Maybe a little bit more active than Operation Lead wanted. But, you should write this name down. Vicious.
Bless you.
And why
Aha.
are you to summon Vicious?
Summon? I was summoned by Vicious.
So he's already here.
He has been here for about the last month and a half. And Vicious is my sweet younger brother.
Was he the one who turned over packs, or was that you?
I will say, under his guidance. He is not as skilled in the charming arts as I, so he did have me do a little bit with Pax. And I don't apologize for it, but I will say he is of a strong mind and body. It was difficult. I do not participate in such as barbaric acts as torture. That was all Vicious. He is a barbarian, a brute. He has not the intellect nor charisma to enact such detailed plans as was given him, sadly, hence why I was sent here to help. However, Vicious is bigger and stronger than someone such as I. Bit of a bully when we were young. He's not that much younger than me. So I don't care for him all that much, if I'm going to be honest. And I've got my own plans outside of the fairly rigid rules from the orders of my Quentar.
What does that word mean? We couldn't really find a direct translation for that.
There's no true direct translation for today's languages. The best I can explain it, it would be like that of a slave driver and its drivees. It would be similar to a hound trainer and the trainer itself, and the dogs themselves. It would be someone who points creatures in a direction, but gives a certain amount of operational ability. They're able to think for themselves and do things, but there are specific lines they have to act within. It used to be a very common word for a vampire lord. I guess it's not anymore.
So more of a master-servant relationship.
Yes, except
the servant is more of a step down that sees to other servants.
yes, that is one way to put it. We are given lines. Those lines are fairly wide, but we cannot go outside of them. Like, actually, we cannot go outside of them. There is no physical way that we can.
Does that make you the vampire lord or your brother?
Neither. I thought I made that quite obvious.
Oh, so who is the vampire lord then?
Sadly, that is outside of my lines to speak his name.
Ah.
But he exists, and he's
But he does
active.
exist. And he sends us about doing things. His plans are much larger than what we are working on. He's likely much more behind the scenes on the continental stage, one could say. At least Caladrian and the Tri-Nation area, if nothing else.
And he is also here.
Not here in team, no. It's just me and Vicious.
In team.
In team, yes. I don't know where my Quentar is.
Is Vicious in...
We'll get to that when we end the conversation with this proposal I have for you, but I'm sure there's more we can discuss before then.
Another note: was that little vampire spawn outbreak in the refugee camp?
It was us. Vicious had the grand idea of attempting to turn the captured, specifically members of the Hells Riders. There's a particular reason why. And this is a common practice for most vampires, and I'll give you this freebie. Vampires love Azimar, as vampires are often considered and known to be weak to the holiest of damages. But the Azimar themselves are naturally resistant to them, allowing the honestly vast amount of vulnerabilities of a vampire to be lessened by at least one in terms of our spawn, as they are so weak until they grow and drink some blood.
Reich is just kind of nodding and thinking. It's like, well, strategically, that honestly makes the most sense.
Could we ask you? I'm pretty sure a lot of the Vox Savorum would appreciate it if you didn't attempt that again.
There
Or
is
at least-
parts of that is why I'm here. I am about to be removed from this operation. I have business elsewhere, and other jobs to do. But I decided might as well leave a little present for my brother, and I had hoped you would catch up in time before the Laughing Faces left, along with some others.
Speaking
And
of
tell me, you
present-
didn't scare dear Pollux too much, did you?
I'm gonna look at
too
Wayne.
terribly,
Lennon was honestly hitting it off with the kid.
I can guess where things went from there.
though
Yeah.
I will admit out of curiosity, why did you give us that dagger?
Well, one, I thought it would be funny. And secondly, it's nowhere near as powerful as my dagger. And if I'm going to leave you all behind to possibly kill my brother, then I might as well help out a little bit.
I'm gonna pull out the dagger and set it on the table. I was like, okay, well, in that case, at least go in depth on its functions. We already know it's cursed.
Yes, it is a minor curse, but that is similar, honestly, not too dissimilar from the bloodlust he naturally obtains nowadays, as he points towards Sakir. He's going to say, in its general sense, it helps the user find weak points, especially in undead creatures, which sadly, I don't consider myself undead, but for some reason, we're lopped in with the likes of zombies and skeletons. Regardless, it helps find the weak points of them. It will not work on me, though, sadly, as I have designed that one myself, as have all of the daggers of that type have been designed by me. Regardless, they also work a little bit better on the fiendish creatures. That was not intentional, but it does work that way. They grow more powerful as they are fed more blood. The more powerful the blood that is taken, the more powerful it increases. That blade does have a pretty low cap on it, however that can be extended if taken to the right enchanter. In a general sense, it saps the strength and energy of any undead that it strikes, and is a lesser extent, but same to fiends.
But what about the curse on it? No offense.
Is it more of like a curse of binding, I guess?
It will be difficult to separate yourself from the blade once you've attuned to it. Sadly, that was unavoidable in the creation. But it's quite the good weapon if you know how to use it.
Is there any negative if somebody attuned to it were to be separated or were to untune for it? Or is it just difficult?
It would be similar to withdrawals from the sniff or any of the other, well, I guess that's not a drug of today's day and age, more than likely. It would be similar to withdrawals, but after a week's separation and some anguish, you will be unattuned. If you don't want to use it, that's fine. I can take it back.
Well, I wouldn't want you to feel like we didn't appreciate your gift. We just want to know everything about it.
Well,
Before we deliberate amongst ourselves regarding a dagger, you've been eager to tell us about this task of slaying your brother.
well, I have a proposal. Let's just say that. Your friend Stolius, sweet lad, honestly very kind. I've felt bad when I've entered his mind. He's surprisingly young for his rank of the Avalarian caste. Regardless, a dueler through and through, a wand wielder, one would say. He is in a location just, what is it? Northwest, east. He is straight west, a little southwest of Team, along the coastline. A place called the Longwood Estate.
But in between here and Rivercheck?
No, west, south.
It would be it technically would be, but it is not far outside of the city.
Alright.
And it is along the coastline, so it's not hard to find. It does have its own walls, which are fairly tall, but not impenetrable for such strapping young lads as yourself.
And you put him there?
No. He purchased that estate by himself probably 2 or 3 months ago. I don't know if he purchased it or Quentar purchased it. Regardless, it was purchased, and he has been in it for the last 6 weeks. At this point, he has, if my memory serves, killed about 70 or so of travelers on the road. He's taken 2 ships, mostly turned those there, and gone in for some hunts and meals in the Vox with some of the stragglers, homeless, that are not necessarily listed in one camp or another, and has likely turned approximately 40 to 50 before last evening with the imprisoned camp of the Azimir.
Alright, with that, Sakir is gonna stand up as if to, like, scream at the guy, and he's gonna walk out of the... He's gonna end up just walking out of the establishment.
As Sakir walks out, he says, "Wow. Man of honor indeed. I can see why he went AWOL and was discharged."
If only.
Alright, and as the conversation is going on between me and Leopold, as it's been going on, he's gonna just say, "Tell me when."
Well, I didn't realize the text conversation we were having was actually in character.
Do you guys want it to
Okay.
be in character? You're welcome to.
I mean, I'm fine with it. In that case, Leo will say, do so whenever. This is your idea.
Rikus is going to continue the conversation with Varus as well.
Yeah.
His AWOL story is well, let's just say it's a long story. But
Yes. Long stories. Regardless.
recent history of the land that you probably may or may not be interested in, but yeah, he doesn't exactly take too kindly to the fact that you charmed him last we met.
Well, he was being quite grippy with other people's personal possessions.
Well, that was partly my fault, but
Regardless, the proposal is quite simple, if I am to be fair. I cannot rebel against my Quentar, but I am leaving. This is no longer my operation, and I will be very clear, I did not participate in these wild barbaric killings of sea ships and trading vessels nearby, or the members of the Vox Savorum. As I have said before, I am trying to be civil in this new world. My brother is not. Quentar does not seem to care, but I do in my own proverbial vampiric way. It's hard to rule over people if they're all dead, or someone else's spawn. Not that I intend to rule over these cities, but one can dream. Regardless, I am being redirected nearby to find more Umbral forces and try to find friends of this plane. Well, when I leave, I will be taking all of my spawn, who are the 9 here, plus some of the other captured people inside of Longwood Estate. I will be leaving mid-afternoon tomorrow. The approximate forces in the Longwood Estate will be Vicious, somewhere between 30 and 40 spawn, along with with maybe half a dozen other umbral creatures that you likely have not seen before. I do not necessarily know their particular abilities, as they are Vicius's friends, not as much mine. Regardless, I know that the Inexorables has some pull in this region, and he looks over towards Randall, who is just, like, staring into his cup, and you can tell his knuckles are white from gripping his mug so tight. And he's going to say, there is also the Clavis Guild, who I'm sure will be more than willing to take its vengeance for the Vox. And while I doubt you all would be able to defeat Vicious in any form of fight, I'm sure Finch will have packs all forms of patched up by tomorrow.
So,
Yes, Sakir.
for the time being,
Sakir is about to do something off screen, so, yes.
Gendo?
oh my
Like,
god.
That is where a 7th stone is, huh?
Did you go outside, upstairs? Where did you go?
I went outside, and I'm kind of just walking like across the street. I'm getting some distance from the building. I would know how telepathy and the likes work. Just get some distance, and I'm gonna make this an urgent call if that's a feature.
Okay, there is no urgent call feature. But you get a response. You have disturbed my time staring upon the stars. What can I do for you, Sakir?
I apologize. If you have the time, there is a vampire who has come from your side of things. He's a brother too. There's a lot of information we now know about him, and we are currently in a risky altercation with him, where we're just conversating. I mostly want to get in touch with Lycus and let him know about the situation. Where are you right now? Would you be able to contact him in any way?
I am laying upon the top of the Academy of Dusk, as your leaders have still not properly found me a place to stay. Regardless, I do not know if Lycus is still awake. He is looking more and more haggard as the days go by, and by that I mean the singular day that I've been here since you've contacted me and seen me last.
It's been a day.
I can go down and make some attempts to see if he can contact you back.
Thank you
Is
very much.
that all?
If you would rather not disturb him, there is also Evithar that you could get in touch with.
Evithar is much more difficult to get a hold of at this hour. However, I could likely find the young lad Harrington, if nothing else, and he would point me in the right direction.
Thank you very much. You did not have to do this favor, and I thank you very kindly for doing it anyway.
All right, and he kind of clicks out.
I'll go ahead and look up at the moon. What was his view tonight?
His view tonight? Well, from your view, you are cloudy, so you don't see the stars all that well. As Team being far more coastal has a lot more storms. As I've mentioned in the past 2 sessions.
Alright, so I'll go ahead and ring to Leopold and say, Gendo is sending the message now. It might take him upwards of 20 minutes. Speak slower.
Loaded.
So, back into the
I
room.
don't know how long this will last, though.
Just let Rikus talk.
So Rikus is who is since is filling back up his pitcher and looking over at Varys's. How far through has Varys got through his? Sorry, filling back up his
Ale.
mug.
He's already downed 2 full ales and is third of the way through the next one.
Okay, I'm going to fill mine up and I'm going to top off Linden's, and then I'm going to
We take like 2 sips.
take another sip. So
believe this is a classic example of devil you know versus devil you don't.
I'm not a
I
devil.
believe, I
It's-
believe
it's-
vampire would be
it's-
more accurate.
I have
I mean,
not
it's just a
heard this
state.
saying.
Oh, it's
Colloquial terms.
it's picking the lesser of two evils. Is that a?
Bold of you to assume I'm flat out evil. I'm just
mean-
messing with you. Regardless, yes, I want my brother at least off the playing field. For the time being. He's been building up this location for 6 weeks. I've ran 3 operations in the time that it's taken him to run this one. And completed my objective in all 3 locations, even in Sargoth. So, at this point, he's becoming dead weight, that even though my master would be disappointed to hear of his failure, it is still a failure.
So we are. Let me get this straight. Obviously, you gave us the location of Ventrati, and it seems the only way to retrieve Ventrati is to run your errand.
Well, let me put it
And-
this way.
And in oh, let me finish here, if you may, Varys. And in return, you gain a higher standing among your kin. If I'm hearing that straight.
There is a minor aspect of that. I would gain very little standing if Vicious were to die. Think of it this way, Rikus. As I have spoken of multiple times, I want to live in this new world and prosper. I don't want to completely dominate and control it. While control would be nice, I do not wish for domination. That is barbaric. It is what Vicious wants. He believes it is what our master wants. I believe my vampire lord, my master, was a man who nearly overthrew the most powerful society in his day. Of the Avalerian wizards, before we were all caught and thrown into Carceri. But over the span of nearly 2 centuries, we killed over 300 archmages of the most powerful magical society that has ever existed. And likely will ever exist. Like, the scope of Carceri has not been seen and likely will never be seen again, and it was an aspect of their city. Regardless, he is a very powerful man who always plays behind the scenes. Vicious is a small-minded felon with the menial ideas of controlling a new faction in the worlds, that being the Vox. That is child's play. He obviously does not have my master's best ideas in mind, and he's sloppy. If he continues, he might let loose secrets, accidentally or intentionally, that will lead to people like myself or my other brother. Which, no, I will not talk about him now. That is for a later date. I know you were going to ask.
Well, we did promise. Lennon will turn to Rikus. Well, we did promise that Randall that we wouldn't be doing any negotiations on behalf of the Vox. That this was only an investigative discussion of sorts.
Randall...
It's only been an investigative discussion, so...
Randall pushes out his chair, and kind of slams his mug down calmly, but still with some force. And will look at you, Rikus, and will say, if what he's saying is true, then I believe the Vox would be okay with this assault. I do not like this in the slightest. And he looks directly at Varys. I do not like you in the slightest. But if you are telling the truth, which it seems that you are not the one who has killed my people. I will only take vengeance upon those who have. And with that, he goes upstairs. He does not have a key to the room, but he goes upstairs.
I have one.
You're not
Are you
in here.
back
You're
inside?
outside.
I know.
Can I roll insight?
Hold on. Maybe he'll go to Varys's
This-
unlocked room, unless the elf locked the door.
Yes, Wayne.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Can I roll insight on this, or would that just be passive insight for like, since it's not specifically?
If you're
for-
inciting the entirety of the conversation, you're welcome to use your passive. If you want to roll, you can.
I'll just use my passive since I'm not really picking anything out in particular. I'm just as a whole.
Okay. What is your insight?
21.
21. With passive insight of 21, you sense that he really does not like his brother. That is very apparent. He does not like Vicious. And you believe that, honestly, this whole plan of effectively leaving him to the wolves of you guys and the Vox does seem to be entirely honest and very open-ended, and truly meant to be a gift and a boon to you guys, while also benefiting him and his master in maybe his own twisted sense in his mind. One thing you will note is that whether by the constrictions of what he can tell you and talk about due to the lines he has to stay within, or if it's just because he's choosing not to share everything, he is absolutely holding some notes specifically about his master and him, like that being Varys, in the background. But he does seem to be fully forthcoming about the Longwood Mansion, or Longwood Estate, and how it has Stolius in it. Vicious is there, the approximate amount of troops inside, so-and-so.
But in the event that we do accept this proposal and we do kill your other brother won't attempt to seek vengeance.
Oh,
on us or anything.
he likely will. However, I'm sure that you'll encounter him in one of his own operations at some point, as it seems that you all magically find your way into the lives of umbral creatures quite often. He will not hunt you, though.
It is our job to, well,
However,
hunt umbral.
if you were to stumble across him, he is far more mindful. He's a magical mastermind. Unless his operation was to hunt you, which I am certain my Quentar would not put a hit out on you. At least not for the death of Vicious. Yes, he would try to kill you if you stumbled upon him. But he will not hunt you from city to city upon your missions. That is strictly against the rules and parameters set by us. Regardless, I am not necessarily proposing do my dirty work for me. What I am saying is, the person who has been leading the operation that has caused all this death and destruction and mayhem, and under his orders caused the kidnappings of both Stolius and Pax, which, by the way, I had nothing to do with Stolius. That was before I came here. I have no interest in letting it persist, so I'm leaving behind the gift of his location. It is up to you if you wish to attack it.
We're not doing your dirty work. We're doing, well, the work you can't do.
And also, you're doing the work by yourself. If you were able to track him down, you would have tried to convince the Kravas Guild, and you would have tried to convince the Vox, and possibly even members of Team and the Sapphire Guard to storm this establishment, if you were able to find it on your own. But in this case, I am giving you the location out of the kindness of my undead, barely beating heart to you, so that you may finish your mission with greater ease. In fact, I am even going to leave my precious right-hand centaur behind to possibly open the gates for you.
I'm going to look at Sentinel. I'm going to look back at Varys and be like, I've never been very good at dragon chess.
It's a thing.
I don't know if that was a game for you people 14,000 years ago.
Three Dragon Ante
however-
was far more popular. Regardless, continue.
Sorry. Dragon Ante, as well as dragon chess.
Dragon.
Drinking these nuts.
That was what
All over the bar.
I'm gonna kind of like put my hands together and lean forward and be like, I'm not one for chess, but I am one for the strategics of war. You're playing the long game. One on many fronts, may I add. What exactly is your long game? Stay within your lines, of course.
He's going to lean forward. He's going to open his hands and say, I have a few games to play. First and foremost, the benefits and finishing of the missions of my master, which is simple enough. However, I have my own goals upon this land. If I am going to be a vampire who lives forever, I might as well have a place of standing to be forever. And I don't want that standing out of fear. Unlike most creatures of my ilk, I have little interest of having a horde of spawn be my counterlage, my people, my servants. He looks over, and the three people sitting at the table, he's going to say, of these three, two of them are spawn. Centaur, my closest and most trusted, is not. He came to me out of, yes, first gold, but eventually a trust and loyalty. I helped free him from mines. I helped his family escape the Katanet iron and radiant fist that held a large group of people in poor conditions for an extended period, by which I have won trust of his, and because of which I have not turned him. If he were to ask, I would do so, but he has not, and I am not going to ask him for such, because I do not wish for ultimate control over the people around. I wish to integrate myself into this new, young world. I hope that my Quentar feels the same. Vicious does not. He does not play a role. He does not play a part. And as a member of the Laughing Face, we all must play our parts. So, maybe a little more vague than you wished, but I have plans for this realm, this world, that are not maybe as grand as my master's, but are simple and quaint, some would say. If I'm going to live forever, I would rather not end early.
I'm going to nod and say, well, then I should probably tell Sakir that it's at least safe to sleep in the rooms that you've bought us.
Yes, there is nothing in the rooms. However, I will say if he does try to go into my room again, there are some possibilities of danger.
I've already broken into your establishment before. I don't intend to right now. However, my brother, if he gets charmed again, it's not my fault.
I do not have an intent to charm him again.
Just wanted to make sure.
As I said, I have no intent to charm any of you. At least this time. But I promise not to this time, but if you guys get rowdy on our next meeting, there is a possibility. Or if Sakir continues to be that rude.
Well, where does your next mission take you?
Lines. Question.
It was worth a shot.
Sure.
Yes.
Either way, I know after this we are celebrating the...
Oh,
The Festival of the Rise.
Yes.
Likely in Suno. No, I probably shouldn't speak of that. Sorry. Regardless, I hope that you all have a wonderful time killing my brother, if you are so successful in doing so. I hear there are tournaments on the Festival of the Rise and a few meetings you possibly will attend. Perhaps we will have another conversation post that. Hopefully I won't be too far away. Regardless, I should likely get back to work and get a little bit of sleep, as we do have a long trip tomorrow.
wow, that was a horrible lag spike we all just experienced.
Yeah, also, my Discord with all of your guys' faces has completely gone away, and I cannot bring it back without completely resetting Discord, and I'm about to end the session, so I just have let the black screen take.
Yeah, you can repeat everything you just said because I heard maybe like 7 words.
Okay, when did the spike start?
Right about when you mentioned the Festival of the Rise.
Yes, right when you mentioned the Festival of the Rise. And you said, no, I shouldn't.
No, I shouldn't. He said, well, I certainly hope you enjoy possibly killing my brother if you are so successful in that. And then the Festival of the Rise, I hear there are some tournaments and some meetings that you will possibly participate in. Perhaps we can gather and catch up afterwards, if my missions so allow. Regardless, I should likely get to sleep as we have a long trip starting tomorrow afternoon. He's going to look over and he's going to make some kind of hand motion, throwing gang signs, and he's going to say, Sentol, if you would be so kind, you are welcome to stay up with them if you wish, but you will be staying in the area for an extra day. You know how to catch up with us, yes? And you guys see he kind of nods. The other two that were sitting with him kind of say their goodbyes and pat Sentol on the back, and they both go upstairs. And Varys is going to get up from the booth.
I would like to ask you one question before you leave, Varys.
Only one?
Well, perhaps I will be a bit cheating, as it's kind of multiple, but if we are going to be facing your brother in vampire spawns, Leopold is going to pull out his pack of vampire killing supplies. I fear I would wonder what in here is exactly, what would work best and what might better be left behind.
Well, I'm
Bricus
sorry.
is gonna just grab his face and be like, "How
I'm
many times
sorry
have I told
to
you?"
say, most of that is inert and useless. I'm not going to tell you what, as that would be stupid of me. But I will say your standards of things like holy water, crosses don't really do much, but they do a little. Sunlight, obviously, but only direct sunlight, and for stronger vampires such as ourselves, it is only a minor disillusionment of our true power. Running water, but I doubt you're going to get much of that around. There's no creeks or rivers that run in through the Longwood estates, and the tide doesn't really count as running.
There you go, Leopold. There you go.
At least I have
Garlic.
answered.
Garlic doesn't work.
Can you forgive me for being paranoid, considering, well, gestures at Varys?
Varys is going to say, "Ah,
Well, I'm glad
what
that this
guests do freeloaders?" Well, he will take a slight bow. and then
Hoppity skip skip.
hoppity skip, head up the stairs.
Well, I'm glad that didn't come to blows.
As are we all. And I think we're probably gonna end the session here, considering it's 10:30.
We're gonna go ahead and end the session there because it's 10:30 and because I need to fix Discord. So, I hope you guys all enjoyed. Went a little bit later than usual, but we kind of needed to finish that conversation.
Yeah.
So we will begin next session. Do we want to begin right where we're at to discuss a little bit more, or do we want to wake up in the morning?
I would like to, because there are two things Leopold would like to do before he goes to sleep.
Okay, we'll do. I will note.
one of
Randall
which
is upstairs. Sentinel is still down in the main area with you. Continue.
Because I'll say, one of those is having a conversation with Sentinel, and one of those is having a conversation with Secure.
All right.
Oh, you didn't want to. You didn't want to yell at the group for dicking around. Before the. Before
I mean, we'll worry about it next session.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll be back next Monday, hopefully.